Alrighty, let's chat a little bit about spiritual attunements and transmission and some of the value that this serves. A quick note, we have a workshop coming up in November here, 2024. This is a 1-week retreat, and we will be exploring the backbone of spirituality through direct transmission and spiritual attunement. So typically, when we want to go deep into spiritual matters within deep aspects of ourselves and experience quite profound change and shift, whether it is from a self-development type of perspective or a spiritual cultivation and dissolution type of perspective, we typically will do this in an endurance type of meditative setting. Okay, and the idea with any endurance type of meditative practice is that through prolonged stillness in many different spectrums, we are forced to encounter the parts of us that are in motion, that are not in stillness, or, this is a fun one, that are locked in place in relation to a free and equanimous mind. So this makes a very peculiar type of dichotomy, because the parts of us that are blockages are in contrast to free and unrestrained motion. And through practices of stillness, we find the parts of ourselves that in relation to stillness are in motion, or in relation to a broader perspective of freedom within motion are locked into rigid types of stillness. So that might be confusing. Don't worry about it. The point we want to make here is that through transmission and spiritual attunements, what we can, I think I'm looking, no, the camera's here. I keep looking at the wrong spot. Through transmission, spiritual attunements, and direct energy opening that we can do with a skilled teacher, is that we can bypass the need to spend, say, 10 days in absolute silence and stillness, or 2 weeks, or whatever the situation is. And we can experience directly the change in the energy and have that change be brought about immediately here and now. So instead of having to set aside vast amounts of time, we can instead have the opportunity of the energy moving through us. So when we encounter these elevations in frequency, they will bring about, and sometimes a touch more dramatically, the what we might say like the stirring up of dukkha, the stirring up of the debris of everything in us that is in contrast to that transmission. So sometimes we have these spiritual transmissions and we go, that was, sublime and whatever. But as we experience, as we reside in this space for longer and longer, what happens is the parts of us that are in contrast with it are stirred into motion. This means that the blockages start to get moved by that energy, because we cannot be within that higher vibration and still be holding on to, at least with ease, holding on to the blockages or the contrast points. So options in terms of ways to deal with these parts of ourselves. One, endurance type meditative practices, or increasing the discomfort while you're in meditative states, because this will bring about that more and more. However, anyone who spent vast periods of time in meditation will know that never will you experience greater psychological, emotional, physical, and existential distress than when you are in what might from the outside appear to be a very peaceful meditative state. So you can do long endurance, or you can tap into or have somebody else help you tap into what might come at the end of an endurance type ritual, right at the get-go. And there can be a lot of value in this. It can really help to speed up the process and to help us consciously be able to tap deeper and deeper states of consciousness and being with choice, right? Without having to rely on the crutch of endurance practice or the crutch of a ritual. Maybe that might be a type of like sweat lodge ritual or a type of prayer ritual. There's many different rituals and they do have power. However, they are crutches. Now, is meditation a crutch? In a sense, yes. Could we look at transmission as a crutch? Yes. Is there pros and cons to everything? Yes. So this isn't about better or worse. It's in a sense about freedom and what do we require to allow ourselves or give ourselves permission to enter deep states of meditation, or as one commenter pointed out hilariously, the deep state of meditation, right? What are the crutches that we require? And these crutches are internal forms of permission, okay? And they can be very valuable to let us move into those spaces. There's also a lot of value in opening up from a transmission standpoint and consciously entering these spaces, again, through direct spiritual attunements and tuning of the spirit to know these places and to be able to reflect these states through the conscious mind, through the emotional, physical systems and energy systems, through the astral planes, and to be able to experience this, again, with choice and with freedom. Okay, hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for your time. If you're interested in training, you can find more on the website, and maybe we'll see you there.